All right, y'all, we're going to be talking about fractions, decimals, and percents today. That's a picture of me and my sister at Busch Gardens a few years ago. Just so cute. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's zoom this in. So, intro to percents. When we're talking about percents, we're still talking about hundreds. So, always keep those pennies in the back of your mind. So, if Edie wants a dog bone for 25 cents, how many pennies would she need? So fill that in right here. How many pennies would she need? If the lollipop costs $1.50, how many cents is that? How many pennies would you need to make $1.50? And so what percentage of a dollar would 25 cents be? Well, that would be 25%. Okay, this is more than a dollar. So how much would that percentage be? A value of a quarter is 25% of the value of a dollar because there are 25 cents for every $100. And that's all we're talking about with percents, okay? So a percentage is a ratio that compares a number to 100 and uses the symbol here. So when we say per cent, cent is a root word that means 100. In Spanish, it's ciento. Okay, cent means 100, so this really is for every 100. Okay, so 45% is really 45 out of 100, or the same as 45 100ths. And remember, if we have hundredths, we go to 2 spaces after the decimal, so 45. All right, and if I was to fill this in, this is a grid of 100. So I know that this row is 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is how you represent 45%. So let's try some practice down here. So 50% is going to be equal to 50 over 100, which is the same as 1/2. Now 50 over 100 we know as a decimal is going to be 0.50, which is the same as 5/10. So we still have the 5 in the 10th spot. We can't move it to another spot, otherwise it represents a completely different number. So if you were to shade this in, we want to shade in 50, and it should be 1/2. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That looks like half, right? Let's try it with 90. So 90 is going to be 90 100ths, or the same as 0.90, which is equal to 0.9. Notice how it's still in the same spot directly after the decimal, which is also equal to 9/10. So if we were to draw this, we want to fill in 90 or 9/10. So here's 1/10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 90%. Excellent. All right, you are going to try this one on your own. I'm going to do one more with you. So 75 is going to be 75. What is a percent? Out of 100. You guessed it. So 75 out of 100 is going to be equal to what? 3/4, because this as a decimal is 75, and there are 3/4 in 75 cents. All righty. So if we were to shade this in, we want to shade in 75. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That That is 75. All right, so you're gonna do this one on your own, okay? And then I'm gonna come check it. Fractions to percents. To write a fraction as a percent, you can create, you guessed it, an equivalent ratio with a denominator of 100. Bingo. We know this. So 3/4 as with 100. How do we go from 4 to 100? How many quarters in a dollar? 4 quarters in a dollar, and each one is worth 25 cents. So times by 25 times by 25. 3 times 25 is 75. So that is 75%. So 2/5, we want to go from 5 to 100. We're going to multiply by 20. All right, you're going to fill this in, and then you're going to tell me how much of a percent that is. Same thing over here. We're going from 10 to 100. So 10 times 10 would get me 100. So once you fill that in right here, you're going to tell me what percentage that is. All you have to do is 3 times 10. To change a decimal to a fraction, we use the place value to determine the denominator. And from there, we can change to a percent. So we've got 93, what? We've got 2 place values, tenths, hundredths. So I know this is going to go over 100. Oh my gosh, I got it all ready. 93 hundredths. So I know it's 93%. So this is the tricky one. We have tenths, hundredths. Don't forget that this is going to be 8 over 100. So that is 8%. These are always tricky. When you have just one single digit up here, you should have a single digit percent. If you got, so let's think about this. If you got 8 questions right, sorry about that. I don't know why it closed. All right. Where were we? So if you got 8 out of 100 questions right on the test, you got an 8%. You did not get 80% on that. No, you sure didn't. You're not getting a B or C or whatever that is. So it gets a little trickier when we have repeating decimals. So for repeating decimals, and with digits in the thousands place, it's going to get a little bit trickier because we can't just put them over 100. So 1/3 is a decimal. We know it's 0.333 repeating. And it goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. We can't write that. So if we were to split this grid, remember we said that this would be like 33. And then we'd have to split this one into thirds, right? And so it goes on forever and ever and ever. But we know it's going to be 33 something. So it's going to be 33.3%. So all I did was I multiplied by 100. And I'm going to explain that a little more down here. But let's take a look at 1/8. We know 1/8 is 1.25. So that's 125 thousandths. Now that's not 125%. If you got 1 out of 8 on your exit ticket, you didn't get 125%. You got 12.5%, right? Because 1/8 looks like this, 12, and then you'd have to split this one in half, right there, like that, right? And so we can't, that's like not the same. So what you're gonna do to solve those is a percent is just a decimal multiplied by 100. When you multiply by 100, you move the place value of the digits up by 2. So take 0.125, 125 thousandths. When we multiply that by 100, what you're going to do is you're going to increase the place value. So that's going to go to the 1 spot and then all the way there. So you're left with 12.5%. So you move the digits up by 2. All right, excellent job. You're going to need a lot more practice on that, but don't worry, got you, my darling.